Hello everybody, welcome back. So in this video we're just going to do the last two examples in our notes. These are word problems. We just have to read this a little carefully and see what the claim is. So in example 3, State Department of Transportation claims the mean wait time for various services at the DMV is at most 6 minutes. A random sample of 34 DMVs has a mean wait time of 10.3 minutes with a standard deviation of 8.0 minutes. Is there enough evidence to reject this claim at a level of significance of 0.01? Alright, so first of all, the claim says that the mean is at most 8 minutes. Okay, so this means that mu is less than or equal to 6. And that has equality in it, so that must be our null hypothesis. And then our alternative hypothesis is that says that mu is greater than or equal to 6. Okay. All right. Alpha is 0.01 before. Let's just write down what else we're given. N is 34. So that implies the degrees of freedom is 33. And we have that the mean x bar is 10.3 and S is 8.0. Okay, we know it's S and not sigma because the sentence is talking about the sample. They give the sample, they say a random sample has mean this and standard deviation that. So that's what S is 8.0. We can see if the null hypothesis is true, the extreme values would be bigger than 6. So we're talking about a right tail test. And again, the degrees of freedom is 33. And our alpha is 0.01. It's a one-tailed test, so we look this up on our table, and our t-distribution for 33 degrees of freedom, and the critical value is 1.692. Okay. So then we compute our test statistic, x bar minus mu, divided by S over square root of n, is equal to 10.3 minus 6 over 8.0 divided by the square root of 34. And when you compute this, this is really big. This is 3.13. That's way, way, way into the rejection region, right? So we reject the null hypothesis. And since we are rejecting the null hypothesis, we're rejecting the claim. So there's enough evidence to reject the claim. All right. Let's go to the next one. Example 4. The dean of a university claims that the mean number of classroom hours per week for a full-time faculty is 11.0. A random sample of the number of classroom hours for 8 full-time faculty for 1 week is given below. At alpha 0.01, can you reject the dean's claim? Okay. Now the thing is, we have to do a little bit of work here. We have to actually find, this is our data, we have to go ahead and find the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. But let's first make sure, we'll assume the population is normally distributed, because n is 8, obviously. And the claim says that the mean number of hours of classroom hours per week is 11.0. So the claim says that mu is equal to 11. that has equality in it, so that's our null hypothesis as well as our claim. And the alternative hypothesis says mu is not equal to 11.0. All right, so that is, we know that we're going to be using a two-tailed test. Okay, where the degrees of freedom is going to be 7 in this case. And again, alpha is 0.01. So we go ahead and look at our table, and we find the critical value in that entry. That entry says that it is 3.499. Okay, and that's all. So that means this value, this boundary here, is negative 3.499. All right. So now we go ahead and find the test statistic, but to do that, we need to go ahead and plug these numbers into our calculator. And when we do this, we get that the mean of all these numbers is 10.05, and the sample standard deviation is 2.485. Okay, again, we get that from our calculator. Make sure if you're using your calculator that you use SX, not sigma x, to get this number. So T is 10.05 minus 11 over 2.485 divided by square root of 8. And this is negative 1.0812. Okay, that will be in here. And actually it's over closer to this, but it's not in the rejection region, so we don't reject the null hypothesis, and so there's not enough evidence to reject the claim, because the claim is the null hypothesis, right? All right. Now, of course, if we had a different level of significance, we might have a different result. But according to this, we can't reject the claim. And I would say go ahead and work on some of the problems on the homework, get some practice, and I'll see you next time.